Jumbo fellow adventurers, Mike Dooley here for a Monday morning spiritual tune-up. Hope you had a great weekend. On the heels of last week's conversations, questions and answers about death and reincarnation and what happens on the other side and why and how and who. This week I want to turn the page. We did 5 talks on reincarnation. And because many of you asked during the discussions last week, Mike, how do you know this stuff? Mike, how do you know? Mike, how come you have so much certainty? That is the topic of today's tune-up. How to figure out almost anything. You can do it. We're born to thrive. Life is the ultimate knowable. Let me give you a few tips. Let me give you 4 steps. But let me also share with you that for me, this has been my bliss and my passion my entire life. I can remember contemplating and wondering about life, death, dreams, reality, time, space, matter, as in my early teenage years. And I think I'm not that unique. Many of us think about these things. I had a mom who encouraged me to be on the fringe, and that was super, super helpful. But I really believe, as I've shared before, we are the eyes and the ears of the divine. We came here to rock and roll. We're here by choice. And therefore, we wouldn't have immersed ourselves in this soup if it was unfigure-outable, if it was difficult, if it was supposed to be some crazed mystery, and that we were supposed to take the word of someone else. Don't even take my word for what I'm about to share with you, nor anything else I share. You have to decide for yourself, does it resonate? Does it make sense? Is it empowering? So my approach is this in a nutshell. If you have a question, that means the answer is there. Okay? Questions cannot stray far from their answers. And if you're dwelling on it and camping out on it, and I'll explain that in a minute, you will literally manifest the idea you're looking for the illumination you were in need of. This is the way it should work if we are divine gladiators here to rock and roll. Okay? We're not here to be punished. We're not here to earn our wings. We're not here to walk a fine line. We're not here to be selfless. We're here to love the magic and beauty of life. And we are fully equipped, including with a noggin here that can reveal all mysteries pertinent to your happiness. So here are my 4 steps. Know you are inclined to succeed. You are inclined to find the truth. You are inclined to thrive. This is how you're wired. This is why you smile more than you frown. This is why you've made it this far in your life with spades. This is why you are so amazing, a legend in your own time. You're not a 50-50 shot at surviving. Come on, you've blown the lid off of that a long time ago. And so when it comes to questions you have about yourself, about money, about relationships, about afterlife, about reincarnation, about karma, you're designed to be able to knock those out of the park. So begin with the premise that life is not the Harvard of the universe, as I like to share. It is the kindergarten of the universe at recess. All right, so number 1, life is the ultimate knowable. You are inclined to knock it out of the park. The answer is always present whenever there's a question. Okay, so number 1, you are inclined to know. You're inclined to figure it out. Number 2, keep it personal. Let it be relevant to your joy. And that doesn't mean you can't wonder what somebody else is thinking. That doesn't mean you can't wonder about past lives. That doesn't mean you can't try to shape the future and influence other people to be in your life. While I can honestly say I have figured out everything in reality that I have ever wondered on, I still am totally clueless and utterly stupid with 99.999% of all things. But those things are irrelevant to my joy and my happiness. Now, within that 0.00001, oh my gosh, worlds are born, love, joy, laughter, fulfillment, clarity, health, healing, you name it, you can have it. So, when I say keep it personal, I mean let it be relevant to your life. Don't be overwhelmed by the by the mass of information that you'll never figure out because it's unrelated to your joy. You master the present moment. You master today. You master yourself, and joy, happiness, abundance will flood into your life. And don't think I'm limiting you to a few little things. There's still an infinite realm of information you can know and deduce with certainty, even though there's another infinite realm of stuff that's irrelevant to your life, your joy, and your happiness. Okay? So keep it personal, let it relate to your happiness, and yes, you can still ask questions within about other people and what they're up to. Just let it be pertinent to your joy. Number 3, this has been a revelation my whole life, and I've seen it as I've written 3,000 Notes from the Universe. That is, camp out and dwell. I call it camping out. You just sit there. You just wait. You just demand. You insist that you're going to be enlightened. I did this with my first little novelette, Lost in Space. I camped out on my back porch and I was like, I am not leaving here until I have a hook, until I have some cool angle from which to share the nature of reality. And it was a couple of hours later. And this is after years of floundering. And good God, I ran into the house literally with words jumbling out of my head, and I typed, not all that long ago, in the nether reaches of ad infinitum, there formed a council of fearless explorers who had grown bored with perfection, infinity, and all the trappings of those who art in heaven. It's like, where the hell did that come from? But I insisted, I demanded, I camped out. You can't just fleetingly think, well, I'd like to figure that out. Now let's turn on Netflix. I'd like to figure that out, but let's go throw frisbee with a dog. Nothing wrong with Netflix or frisbees, but you have to care. Care enough to create that space in your life. Like, I want to figure this out. And because my passion has always been the nature of reality, beginning with the fringe, hypnosis, mind power, ESP, astral projections, telekinesis, all of that stuff. I have been camping out my whole life on these topics, and lo and behold, you become a lightning rod for truth. And you draw amazing books into your realm. Amazing books. At my website, look for my page, Mike Dooley, recommended reading, books that have just confirmed my own intuition and then taken me farther than I could have gone on my own. I often mention these books. I often link to that. So number 3 is camp out and dwell on both the question and the possible answers. It's like, what could it be? How else could I ask this question? Is the question fatally flawed? You're not going to know, but it'll come to you. And camping out makes it come to you. Number 4, when you get to a supposed truth, a supposed answer to your question, if it is truth, and truth is absolute, it's yay or nay, it's up or down, it's left or right, it is not wishy-washy. When it comes to the nature of reality, when it comes to your journey, okay, it's subjective. When it comes to thoughts become things and we're all one, it's absolute, starkly objective. When you hit upon truth, you can be sure that you're there, because it will either speak of life's beauty or speak of our power and leave no one behind. Totally inclusive. I don't care if they're religious. I don't care if they're bad. I don't care if they're possessed by the so-called devil. It cannot exclude anyone. Too often, religions are exclusionary. You either do this on Fridays or you're going to hell. The truth sends no one to hell. Everyone is in this together. The truth, you will know you are on the truth when it either speaks of life's beauty or our power, and it leaves no one behind, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what, ever. It is always inclusive. Okay? All right, so let me give you a little example of how this works. Because, I can't just theoretically tell you these things. Let me tell you some of the stuff I found. And to put this in context, I have met person after person in my decades alive, from time to time, who will tell me like, well, that's a nice idea, Mike, but nobody knows. That's cool, Mike, but nobody can know the truth. That's cool, Mike, but you can't prove that. That's cool, but it's all a mystery. It's like baloney. That's a total cop-out. You throw your power out the window. I agree. Most stuff I will never know. Most stuff is irrelevant to my joy. But let me connect some little dots, starting small, making it personal, following these 4 guidelines that I just gave you. From a lifetime of dwelling. True or false? Life is beautiful. Okay. I'm not going to connect all those other dots, but true or false? Life is beautiful. You could look for extreme exceptions where there's pain and agony and ugliness and say, that's not beautiful. But we're not looking for extreme exceptions. Take it as a whole. There is no bird that flies. There is no worm that crawls. There are very, very few people, minuscule, who don't crave their life and don't want another day because it's beautiful, because it's awesome, because it's magnificent. And we go through highs and lows, and I'm not denying the ugly. But while it can fairly be said that life is this great big mystery, we can know with absolute confidence that it is beautiful. We can also know with absolute confidence that we are powerful. Like it or not, as mysterious as life is, we are powerful. Physically powerful, mentally powerful. And when we dig around, we see our thoughts become things, which explains dreams coming true and why every culture has always celebrated the power of positive thinking. Jeez, we move mountains. So life is beautiful and we are powerful. Those are non-negotiable. You can look for exceptions, but they would always be exceptions. And in the grand scheme of things, they'd be minuscule, microscopic, temporary exceptions. So we have just revealed in this mysterious soup of reality that it is beautiful and we are powerful. We being people. Others are powerful too, but we are powerful. So then we might say, well, where the hell does this all come from? Well, there's 2 schools of thought. Either it's all a random byproduct chance of space dust that collided 1 trillion years ago, or intelligence is involved. Well, when you look around planet Earth and you see every nook and cranny on air, land, and sea teeming with brilliance, teeming with life, that answers your question. There's intelligence. Never is there anything occurred in reality that would explain consciousness emerging from a rock. Nothing. Whereas consciousness breeds consciousness. We see the unbelievable intricacies in the 100 million different species on planet Earth. We see so much that evolution could never, ever, as a sole explanation for our presence here, explain. I've spoken to some of these things earlier before, so I'm not going to redo them. But we can deduce with extreme total confidence that life is not some random haphazard, accident. We can know with 100% confidence that life was designed with brilliant intelligence that took into account the sun, the moon, and the stars. You don't have to know more than that to realize it. Call it God, call it the universe, call it source, call it whatever you want. But it's unmistakable. And then you might say, well, maybe that's why we're so powerful. After all, divine intelligence wouldn't be making us from some clay left over in the shed out back. There could be nothing that is not pure God, pure divine intelligence, pure source. It's all source, which is why we're so powerful, which is why it's so perfect, which is why it's so beautiful, which is why it's teeming with intelligence, which presumes that there's order and meaning in everything, even though we can't see it. And that's enough to give you peace. You can deduce that if we are of God, that we had to choose to be here because God doesn't go where God doesn't want to go. You can deduce if we are of God, that we survive beyond this lifetime. You can deduce that if we are of God and that time, space, and matter are illusionary, which even scientists have gotten on to, then we have eternity, if you will. We have more than time. We always were, we always will be. So hey, why wouldn't you come back and have another round? And then there's near-death experiences encountered in books and CDs and Anita Morjani, her book, Dying to Be Me, that again and again and again chronicle virtually identical experiences that people have upon death. And some come back and some don't come back. But the ones who came back are all telling us this story. There's order, there's beauty, there's love. And confirming all of this other stuff. And hey, they came back. Well, why not come back? And even if you died, maybe you come back to learn another way. After all, you have time. So suddenly reincarnation is like patently obvious, although it doesn't happen on a linear timeline. Then you take this simple 4-step approach for revealing enlightenment, and you can apply it to money. You can apply it to love. You can apply it to romance. You can apply it to healing. You can apply it to fulfillment. You can apply it to your vocation, your career, your family. And you camp out, you ask a question, you insist, you keep it personal, and you will have a pathway to follow towards financial abundance. You will have a pathway to love and romance and to health and to healing and everlasting ecstasy. This is such exciting news. It's all knowable. Not to mention that there's books out there. Not to mention you have a squad of angels. Not to mention you have a pipeline to the divine. Not to mention all that we've already deduced. You can live the life of your dreams. You're here to succeed. There is no devil. There is no hell. There is no random chances. Let this empower you and fill you up. And where you have questions, where you stub your toes, go there now and ask some questions and insist on nothing less than the absolute answer, and open your mind and your heart to hear it and feel it in ways that you never have before, which is why perhaps until now it's eluded you. Life is the ultimate knowable. It's beautiful. You are powerful. Have it all. Have a great week, everybody. Elaine and Sam, my brothers and sisters, Kel, Lynn, Katrina, Diab, and Litany, Ignite Your Light. Good to see you back here on Instagram. Everybody post your questions below. We got a whole new week, a bunch of new answers. And today's the last day. We're doing a free trial, 21 days window for my Infinite Possibility membership on Facebook. Click below, or on Instagram, swipe up to my bio and click for your free 21 days Infinite Possibility membership. Tomorrow morning, I'm doing a 30-minute mini manifesting workshop on the nature of miracles. Please be there. It's free. You got to sign up. You do need a credit card, but you get 3 weeks for free. And if it's not your cup of tea, you bow out and you never paid a penny. So have an amazing week, everybody. Lots of love from Orlando, Florida. Tally-ho. All good things. May all that you wish for be the least you receive. Mwah.